Welcome in, everybody. I'm Joey, back on the Crew Motorfest, the ultimate driving simulator. Everything about this game is pure sim, and if you deny it, then you're just mad because bad. Starting off in the Mitubishi Eclipse, going down the coast. Let's see what kind of shenanigans we can get into this time. Some guy with some underglow right here. So we know right off the bat, this guy's the fastest one in the lobby. Coming up on the first turn, Volkswagen moving on swiftly ahead of us. Now, there are many turns in this game that you know someone's going to throw the rocket boosters on at, and this is definitely one of them. This guy getting some mad air. That is an update coming to console soon. Me and everyone in this lobby got a nice sneak peek at the new car that they're adding. It's Jeff Bezos's new orbital space probe. It will be available to everyone soon as DLC. All you'll have to do is chuck your wallet at the nearest Ubisoft office, and it should arrive in your account shortly. I'm holding out for the Falcon 9 DLC, though. It'll come. I've got my fingers crossed. Around the bend, we've still got Mr. Underglow up front here and a couple guys showing each other some emojis. Clearly, some kind of argument going on up front. Another emoji. You know this guy's pissed. They're both going at it right now. Into the braking zone, a Ford Focus right up the inside, slamming into the wall, using the meta strategy. Another Ford Focus right behind us, and now we're switching into the roof. I'll tell you what though, you want to piss old Joey off? Pass me in a race and then flip me a little like smiley face emoji or something like that. I want to bash my screen in so bad. I'm fine with getting rammed off. I can deal with that. It's just the nerve of some people to take time out of their race to use their sweaty fingers they just picked their butts with to slide over to the D-pad and give me an emoji as they're driving by. Just show me a little picture to piss me off. I can't stand it. Anyways, speaking of pissing me off though, I've completely missed this checkpoint now. We're clearly not working out. This guy is just eating some cobblestone. Didn't take me too long to start eating some cobblestone as well. A little later, eating more cobblestone. How about some more cobblestone? It's basically Minecraft out here. We're griefing the whole map. The server owners are pissed. We're gonna get banned. No worries. We're still continuing on into a little neighborhood now. This Lancer over here on the right side seemed to be pushing me off. So I pulled a little magic trick. Now you see him, now you don't. And well, I think we have to take a moment to just celebrate the life of Lancer guy right here. He lived a really short one. I think, how long were we through that race? Maybe half of it. Short life, far too short. But he's dead now, so not much we can do about that. Later on, I decided to strategically go for a swim and hit a tree. You might be thinking, but you're losing a bunch of positions. How could that be strategic? Well, the engine was getting too hot, and I just needed to hit a tree for some reason. Ultimately finishing in 13th place, so out of frustration, trying to find another tree to hit. Here's one, and then out of nowhere, the car just starts having a Russian rave. A couple shots of vodka later, we're moving on. Alpha GPs, I've morphed into Max Verstappen. I'm not going to drive like him, though. This guy on the left, definitely not driving like him. Already losing control of the car, and then this guy hits a wall. It's confirmed, Romain Grosjean does play the Crew Motorfest, and here's a pretty good forecast of what Turn 1 at COA this weekend's going to look like. Circuit of the Americas, great track. The Formula 1 drivers, from what I hear, love it, but that Turn 1 hairpin up the hill is just nasty. Kind of like this. We've got a Red Bull and basically a Spider-Man Halloween costume climbing the damn wall. Some more sexual acts being performed on cars everywhere. This guy in the middle of the road just takes somebody out. It's an absolute mess. Hopefully, though, Turn 1 at COA isn't going to be that big of a mess this weekend, but George is starting behind Carlos Sainz again. So, if I'm putting my money down anywhere, it's George spinning Carlos again. I don't hope it happens, but I'm just saying it could happen. The stars are aligning. This guy is basically the George to my Carlos, putting me straight into the barrier over the bridge, so I can't let that happen. We're going to track this mother down and get the revenge we deserve. So coming around the left-hander here, I'm going to push him off and then spin myself out, take a couple guys out in the middle of the road, get back in the middle of the road, push this guy into a rock wall who looked like he flipped over, and then finally get back to it over the bridge and eventually reeling the pack in again. It's a group of 4 of us now in a battle. Let's see what we can do. Trying to find a way around light blue ahead. He swerves over to the right onto the grass, back to the left, back to the right, I do some weed whacking, get back onto the asphalt, do some more weed whacking, and then eventually back on track. And we're back into the battle as well with Light Blue. I'll let you guys figure out that gamer tag down below. And then Light Blue decides to go play Minecraft. So we've got that position, albeit up into the very coveted position of 17th. Around the left-hander, getting a pretty good exit back onto the boost and getting up into 14th. So it's getting better, except it took about half an hour for my car to switch over into the Bugatti, and I ate some more cobblestone. The cholesterol's really going way up this episode. Too much cobblestone intake. Here we go around the carousel, and we've got a torpedo. I know a couple of you guys are waiting for a little torpedo joke, so there you go. The memes are out. You can afford to be a torpedo when you can bounce off walls and cars, kind of like I did there in this game. Later on, coming down the mountain, we've got a Lambo up front, really struggling to put the power down, spinning out to the left side, getting another position out of that. And then this guy just has his Buzz Lightyear moment. Unfortunately, I don't think he flew. I think he died. I don't have another memorial card. I used all one of them up on the Lancer guy, so I guess we'll just tell him RIP and move on. A couple of Koenigsegg's came out of the woodwork, trying it around the outside of the one in front, and we get it done. I'm in the Mustang now, 72% of the way through the race, sitting in 6th place, 5th right up ahead. And he's a dirty son of a bitch, it turns out. Look at him trying to run me off the track. Not gonna let that happen. Just down the road, Kendall B's gonna throw another Hail Mary, smack straight into the wall, and then I guess he rewinded to get back on the road. Maybe this is some new strategy I haven't tried yet. All I know is I kind of thought that was a scummy move, so I put him into the cobble wall, where I've become very familiar with this episode. And then for the second time, I'm gonna miss a checkpoint, thinking I'm smart, cutting over the grass, making up some time. Nope, you thought? The game reminding me I am absolute trash, and now Kendall B is back in front of me, my arch nemesis. Luckily, he might be just as bad as I am, because around the final turn, he hits the sidewall, I run into the back of him, but apparently the game thought I won. So not only am I bribing the race officials in Forza, but I've also been filling the pockets of the Motorfest boys as well over at Ubisoft. Go ahead and report me. I'm just going to keep paying them. My pockets are absolutely endless, which would explain why I had Kraft macaroni and cheese for lunch today. We're eating high class, people. We're eating high class out here. My lunch options aside, we're over the jump, down the hill, massive group up ahead. Let's see if we can get around them. Someone up front using their travel points on a plane ticket. Didn't get him very far though, clearly not a lot of points. And then the aliens just dropped this dude off out of nowhere. Hummer on our inside and the rest of the group drifting off wide, getting the best of that glorified golf cart. And then things settled down, believe it or not, for a second, trying to find some slipstream until a GTR buddy comes up the left side and goes for the overtake, getting it done, smacking some cobblestone. The alien abducted Eat More Chicken pickup truck going ahead as well. We'll skip forward to a nice little foresty area here, taking out a tree, looking for a shortcut. We're going to go through the forest again, doing our best not to hit any of these immovable trees. Fortunately, I avoid hugging any of them, and we can try to pick our way through the next pack up here. All 6 of us up front are in this little pack, so first place is definitely in the cards, although we are only 15% through here. But it's nice to see us at the front of the pack. Now this place might look a little familiar to one of the earlier races. This is where I made a Lancer disappear into a building. Could something similar happen? Let's find out, shall we? So GTR pushing me left. So this damn hut has claimed 4 lives this episode. It was cool when it didn't make me crash into it. Now I'm not okay with it. It needs to be removed. I am completely unbiased, of course, and not just saying that out of frustration. There's something else that needs to be removed, and that's also farm equipment. I haven't run into that at all yet, but I think it also needs to be removed. There's no place for it in the Crew Motorfest, no reason for it to be in the game. So, me not being frustrated aside, I've fallen down into 13th place. Switching over into the Eclipse, though, this is my go-to car. Nothing is going to go wrong. This is what I use when I want to get first places, and well, I've hit another. Yeah, that's happened. I don't think it needs any explanation. We'll move on. In the Lotus, still seeking that first win. Off the line, losing a couple of positions. Everyone else looks to have opted to use the boost right off the line. I tend to save it up and then use it a little later on a straight. or when I see a gap open up in the pack. This pack is pretty dense, not seeing any opportunities, so just kind of using it sparingly, trying to pick my way through. Some space opens up on the inside of that BMW, firing away the NOS, and we have pretty much a classic Motorfest 90-degree turn right here. Cars popping up like a game of whack-a-mole, while the rest of the lobby is just crushed into a sidewall. Classic stuff. The parade of brain cell loss continues, though. We're around a GTR that's taking a shortcut over the grass. We take a better shortcut, leaving him in the dust. This guy in the Challenger's had enough and decides to wrap himself around a tree. Can't blame him. This is just absolute madness right now. Settling into a race in the Crew Motorfest, unless you're in front by a couple of miles, there's no settling in. That's why I think this Forza, the Crew Motorfest balance that I've got going on right now is working for me. Because, I mean, Forza's got its madness, don't get me wrong. You can have some wild races. But for the most part, I feel like people are trying to drive cleanly. So when I've had enough of that and I just want to smash the shit out of somebody and get the shit smashed out of me, there we go, then I'll just come over to the Motorfest. It's a sick and twisted combo, but I'm enjoying it. We're side by side with the Ferrari into this left-hander, but he had other plans. So did this Lambo, who goes wide up the hill. Look what he does. Makes the perfect cut. He's gained probably about 2 seconds on me at this point, just from that one cut right there, somehow planning it out perfectly. Guy has been studying the track for a while now. He'll be on the esports circuit soon. You just remember that name that I've already forgotten. However, I've learned the forgotten man's ways, made a little cut of my own and grabbed a couple of positions, got the run on the Porsche, another position in the bag, drifting it over the hill, making a little jump into the wall, perfectly executed to the next checkpoint. I'm getting very close to the cliff on the left tire actually hits a rock, the car jumps up, still keeps the momentum though, and I get in front of the pickup truck, hitting another wall, and then using the Porsche as a backboard, just clean racing. Just some good, clean racing. I've pushed my luck a little too far though, finally falling off of a cliff. Luckily it wasn't too steep. Pulling the e-brake and hooking up with the checkpoint pretty nicely, back on the power. 42% of the way through this one, now 47. And I found another guy who knows a shortcut. This might be the esports legend from before. So here he goes off into the trees, and I notice it. So the next time I follow him, off the jump, he bangs off a tree, George the Jungle style. I get through, so clearly I am the most skilled here. Or the most lucky, depending on how you look at it. Looking at the map, though, we can see the leader is very far ahead, and oh, it looks like we might have just hit something. It's too bad we were zoomed in, because now we'll just never know. Ended up getting third place in that one, so at least we're on the podium. My guy was clearly happy, and then this guy just shows us a big face full of his crotch. Something's up with the celebrations in this game, man. They're a little weird. I'm not on board. I'm not totally on board. All right, we're back in the Lotus, though. Final race of the episode, starting towards the back. Let's see if we can crawl our way towards the front. And you guessed it, some stuck-up Lamborghini driver over here thinks he's got access to my inside at all times, pushes me wide, and then we've got a nice double doink into the trees on both sides of the road. That was an absolute work of art. You couldn't have choreographed that for a Super Bowl performance any better. That was as good as it gets. Coming through a tunnel now, it can get pretty sticky here in the tunnel. If you touch a wall, chances are you might go flying. A couple of guys at the tunnel exit making contact, bouncing up into the air, and I just about make it through all right. A Porsche straight across the road and right off of a cliff, never to be seen again. And I'm in a bit of a battle here with a Corvette. Dude, I'm American. Leave me alone. We're on the same side here. I did get in front of him, but it was all for nothing. Smacking myself straight into a barrier and falling behind. 27% through the race in 15th. I make the luckiest move of all time. Bouncing off a yellow BMW through the water, through the grass, into the checkpoint, and gaining 10 positions in one corner, with the chance to make it 11 if Mr. Mustang here will let it happen. He's pushing me off to the right. He's got a Ferrari up his inside, and it didn't really work out for either of us. Another double doink, this time off of the same tree, and while I'm busy laughing my ass off, end up crashing myself and paying the price through the next checkpoint, dropping down a couple of spots. There could be more crashing. We're coming up on a little foresty area again here, trees all around. We know it's tree hitting simulator. This time, getting by it, over the jump, down the hill, back up another one, and then skipping forward in 4th place about halfway through the entire race. Opting for the ramp. The leader goes under. I think we made the right decision, though, landing right on the downhill. bouncing off the wall, and second place is mine. Time to put some pressure on first place up here. Let's see if we can catch up to him. It's possible to finish off the episode with a victory. We're going to have to get by this menacing pickup truck, though. Putting the boost on, catching up to him through the twisty bits here, and into the braking zone down to the left. We've disagreed on when to turn in, both hitting the wall. I'm prepared to turn this into a full-out argument, smashing straight into him, trying to bounce off of him like a backboard. Didn't quite work out. He's back up in front, but the GTR reeling him back in. I'm going for the same move, miss him, and smack straight face first into the wall. Somehow, he hasn't gotten back ahead of me. So as far as I'm concerned, it was a really good move. Around the next carousel, though, he's right back up onto us, still trading paint, back to the left, maintaining the lead for now. Is he going to come back for another Hail Mary? Yes, he is, using me as a backboard this time. We're just going back and forth, smashing me into the side. The dirty savagery continues. I run him up against a couple of rocks and slow him down, then go off the ramp, land it perfectly onto the brakes real quickly. Not quickly enough, though, and he goes for yet another dive, and then I chuck him like I'm Godzilla, because it is a GTR. It is basically Godzilla. And after that, you'd think I'd just go ahead and close the race out, but no, I had to go for the meme car here in the Cadillac, which I am really struggling to control, and hit a tree. Oh, just how fitting that is. And of course, finishing in fourth place, because I really didn't deserve the podium after that one. Hitting a couple of trees, and then ultimately deciding to fall off a cliff onto the sand and drown the car, because I never want to see it again, and I should never be allowed to drive in this game again for this absolutely disgusting display. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, do all the stuff the YouTubers tell you to do at the ends of videos, and I'll talk to you soon. All right, bye, everybody.